Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to a new game called Escape the Mad Empire. This is a roguelite dungeon crawler with some party-based RPG mechanics, and it's actually pretty darn fun. And I'm not just saying that because Paradox Arc are the sponsors for today's video, although they are, but actually I reached out to them asking if I could be involved in this game because I thought it looked very promising. And now that I'm a few hours in, it has not disappointed. We're gonna jump into a campaign that is already in progress, and I'll show you how this game is gonna work. Of course, a big thank you to Paradox Arc for the aforementioned sponsorship. If you guys would like to learn more, you will find a link in the description down below, and I would encourage you to click on that. Let's get started. Now, as a bit of background, we are diving deep into an underground empire that meddled with forces better left alone. Unsurprisingly, everything came crashing down, the empire has collapsed, monsters have been unleashed, the gates are sealed, and we are trapped inside. Can we escape? And getting started here, what you're going to see is that we are controlling a party of heroes or adventurers through a randomly generated dungeon. The goal here is pretty straightforward: explore the dungeon, find monsters, slay them, gather experience and loot, and then hightail it out of here to return to a hub area where we can spend our resources to make ourselves more powerful for the next dungeon. But we'll come back to that in just a bit. So what I'm doing right now is simply hunting for some enemies. We did run into a door here that requires a blue key. I'm not looking to use that. That's a quick exit if you can find the key. But I want to stick around and kill as many enemies as is possible. So let's see if we can't find a few of them. Well, we did find some additional loot, which requires a silver key. Okay, that's fine. The game's just taunting me at this point. Hello, a silver key. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and grab some of this loot. We've got some potions, food, drink, and some special building materials that we are going to need for the hub, like these rare materials, some blueprints, some crystal shards, and so on. Let's go to this chest, use the silver key. We found a lot of good stuff. This is a phenomenal start to a dungeon. I like it. We'll divvy some of this out later. Continuing to explore, we found a camp. I can explain more about that in a bit. I just want to find some enemies to show you some quick combat. Usually they're not hard to find. There they are. All right, we got some bats, we got some skeletons, and probably a few more things in there. Yup, some more zombies, etc. Okay. Now, the way the combat works in this game is every hero has an auto attack based on whatever weapon they currently have equipped. It could be a melee weapon, it could be a ranged weapon, and so on. That's great and all, but you don't usually want to rely heavily on that. Instead, what you really want to use are your special class abilities. And depending on whether I'm playing a battle priest or a mage or a ravager, etc., I can have different spells and martial skills at my disposal. Some of which can be used for rather explosive effect. So for example, let's use a firebolt on this oil barrel, which is going to just set some fire, and any of the enemies running through are now going to be on fire. Makes sense to me. I'll put a quick shield on my battle priest, and I'm going to be pausing very frequently as this game goes on because you can use any of these abilities instantly while you are paused, so it's worth kind of cycling through your characters, seeing what actions they can take, and not relying too heavily on the auto attack. So for example, let's use a quick attack by my ravager on this guy. Goes boom, and it is dead. Perfect. Unpause, let these guys get closer, and we'll wait for a second, then use some more abilities. How about a swift strike to boost up our offense? Another kill because my Ravager's actually pretty good, it turns out. And he was getting a little bit closer. We'll use a shock ability to hit multiples. That one's now dead. Quick attack probably from this battle priest. And we can even run in here now with my mage and also do some attacks, and I won't feel bad about it. There we go. Enemy down. Perfect. That was a very, very easy, clean fight for me. Now we loot some of the gold, we find their bodies, we pick up anything else we can. Perfect. Now, one thing to note, though, is I didn't make use of all of the abilities in my arsenal. Some abilities have an infinite number of uses. They're kind of like cantrips in D&D, right? You can use them a lot of times, you just have a long cooldown, but some abilities, the more powerful ones you gain as you level up, they have a limited number of charges in a dungeon. So you want to use some of these very powerful abilities sparingly for fights that are going to be extremely important. You can get charges back either by drinking certain kinds of potions or by taking a rest. And again, that seems very familiar to something like D&D. There is, however, a major cost to that. Mainly, if you look at your characters, we have more than just some hit points, we have two other bars we have to manage, which are the thirst and satiation, or your hunger. As you journey around in this dungeon, both of these are going to slowly go down. If at any point they run out, your character will be taking some constant damage. So you need to bring along some food and some drink with you in order to keep your characters up and a-running. That means you don't want to dilly-dally and waste a lot of time here in the dungeon. This can get expensive to replenish your characters, so you need to move fast and try not to waste your resources. Now, we are about to run into another bunch of enemies. I don't like the look of this fire archer in the back, so what I'll do with my mage is petrify. I don't know if I can get a little closer, I'll petrify both of these guys here, because I would really rather not deal with them for a few seconds. This gives me a little bit of time to run in here, deal with things with their sorcerer, some more zombies, and so on. I don't have a lot of good abilities at my disposal here, so what I'm thinking I might do is actually do some lightning attacks and see if we can knock out this mage quickly. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think that's going to work very well. Maybe we knock out this big bone zombie first. That's a lot of damage, which is just about enough to take you down, take you as well. The sorcerer put some plasma beam burn on my mage, so that character's probably about to take a little damage, but okay. Yep, we are indeed taking a bit of fire damage. The sorcerer is down. My mage is taking some damage. That's fine. We can use a regeneration spell in order to start replenishing some of our health and then get back in here and continue doing some damage, especially against that fire archer. I'd rather not continue to burn. Burn, baby, burn may be a fun song, but it's not a good way of life in the dungeon, okay? That's all I'm saying. Let's apply a quick heal here. Didn't even work. Really? My battle priest failed his heal on the mage? Uh-oh. Well, that could become a very substantial problem. My mage is now taking a lot of damage. It's okay, though. Fortunately, we just found something that is going to be useful to us. There is a big constitution check here, a potion we can use for some health. So let's get up here, do a quick roll. Hopefully we find a bunch of health. No, we failed that check. Well, that sucks. Okay. Now, some of these fights do get quite difficult, all right? I mean, right now we're kind of early in a new run, so I don't expect the enemies to be insane. But trust me when I say they can be quite nasty. Like this level 2 ice zombie right here, 50 HP. That's going to be unpleasant. Well, I'll cast a new regeneration spell on my mage so that she is able to regenerate there. And let the enemies get a little closer. Well, let's see. We've got a Skelly Knight. We have a Rogue. I really want to take out this ice zombie. Let's go ahead and break his armor, which is going to reduce his defense, make it easier for us to continue doing damage to him. And we will also cast a group shield and make sure that all of my characters have a big bubble working around them. I do not want to lose my mage right now. That would be devastating. Actually, my battle priest is doing quite a lot of tanking right now, which could be a bit of a problem. This fight, oh my gosh, this fight could turn into a problem very quickly. Right, we need to have the Ravager get up here and do some of the tanking here. This battle priest is really not designed to take this kind of punishment. Let's go ahead and do a quick heal. All right, that gets me at least a little bit of room to work with. Quick auto attack, not quite enough to finish you off. Okay, hit the zombie. There we go. All right, so that's down. Now the Ravager has to do the tanking. Pull the rest of my characters back. This is why pausing is so darn important in this game. You're going to be using it a lot in order to make sure you are effective with your characters. There we go. All right. Managed to clear out that room. No problem at all, right? It's all totally fine, right? Let's open up the map. We can see how things are looking. So there's at least a little bit more to go up here in the northern section of the dungeon. Probably some more enemies I have to worry about as well. Holy crud, that is a lot more enemies. Okay, let's pull it back a second because there's quite a lot to worry about. Run, 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 run. Never be afraid of a quick tactical retreat, especially when there are explosive barrels that you're hoping to make use of at some point. So I'm going to pull back here for a sec. Wait. There we go. All right, now we want to do a firebolt, take down the acid. That's going to at least apply some damage over time, and now we continue to retreat while they all take a little bit of damage. Now, the good thing about the Ravager is he can use a special ability that is called Rage. You can't control him anymore, but he attacks extra fast, and he runs around and just hits things. So if you're ever in a period where, like, you know he's going to attack something you want, like, let's say, the boss, and you don't really need to control him and move him out of, like, let's say, fire or some other special attack, just go ahead and enrage him. 80% attack speed is really good. Anyway, let's wait for him to calm down for a quick second. There we go. Now we got to go find the rest of that group. There were more. We split them apart for a reason. Let's go clear them out. There they are. Oh my gosh, there's still so many more over here. All right, we're going to want to do a petrify probably to split some of these enemies up. So let's do that with these zombies like so. You can't damage petrified enemies, but it's fine to just remove them from the fight for at least a little bit, I think. A couple more quick attacks whenever they come available, and there we go. All right, so that dealt with that. Did find a trap, so we'll need to clear that out. Can you disarm 50%? Nope. All right. Well, good news is the trap apparently was just water. So you will occasionally have some of these environmental effects on the ground, like the water that just splashed over here. or some of the blood, or sometimes it's oil and poison, and that can matter. You can freeze water, for example, and freeze enemies or root them in place. You can make oil explode or catch on fire, stuff like that. Ooh, we found a knowledge book. This is good for helping the character to level up. Let's go to my mage. We will have you do a quick read intelligence test, and we did get 225 more XP. Very good. Almost ready to level up one of my characters, and of course that's useful to take into future dungeons so that they can do even more stuff. Found the boss over here. I don't really feel like going to the boss room yet. I'd rather continue exploring the dungeon. More enemies? Sure, why not? Now, the problem is, this is a green vampire, again, level 2, 50 HP. The enemies get really dangerous as they start becoming higher and higher levels, so I do need to be cautious about this. I really want to draw its attention, probably with the Ravager, so I'm going to have that be a thing. Let's go ahead and put a shield on you. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively enrage my Ravager so he gets up there and does some serious damage. And I could start firebolting something, or I could petrify some enemies, which may be a good idea. Yeah, let's plan on petrifying these so my Ravager doesn't get hit too frequently. And then we're going to try to apply some serious damage here, but these enemies are already stacking up horribly for me. Ugh, I really want to use some of these special abilities, but I want to save them for the boss too. Ah! Yeah, I'm very concerned that my Ravager is about to get just completely bodied here because of this vampire. And he's dying already. Holy crap, what just happened? The green vampire did 22 damage. Wow. Okay, we're going to go ahead and apply some roots and bleed to everybody over here. This character is dying, which means we have a limited amount of time to get in here and try to save his life using a quick med kit. Run in here, Battle Priest, use this, get him back up. Okay, now he's got 6 HP. We'll go ahead and give him some more health. Okay, so he's back on his feet, thank God. And yeah, we are in what we call a lot of trouble, but finally my character is back online. Let's use a mighty hit on the green vampire. 27 damage. And then pretty much everything needs to be bodying this as hard as I can. He continues to put my characters to sleep. That is not good. But he's only got 10 HP left. Can we find a way to burn him down quickly enough? 6 HP left. Come on. Oh, no. Another character fell asleep. Vampire down. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to be fine, but obviously that was a little more touch and go than I would have liked. And that was only a level 2 enemy. I have faced worse, I promise you. Once you find the level 4 and level 5 enemies, you're going to be kind of scared. A little bit more loot is certainly welcome, though. We could certainly try to go back over here and rest. Now, resting is kind of a problem for me, though. Resting is great because it gets you all of your HP back, and it does give you all your charges back on your attacks, and I like that. However, it costs you 50 satiation. So that means that you need to spend a lot of extra money on food and water for your characters. So if you can avoid doing it, that is generally the better way to go. Looks like I may have found a village over here, by the way. Not much I want to do here. It's just a bunch of innocent little people. Sometimes there's a shop and stuff. Maybe we could find something worthwhile. Like talk to this person over here, Decathor. What do we find? A bunch of armor, weapons, and so on. A way to spend some of my money. It's not a bad idea. And the weapons and stuff you'll find in this game do follow the typical rarity levels. You've got uncommons, rares, legendaries, and stuff like that. Right now, I don't think I want to spend all my money on this. I'd rather just keep exploring. There's a lot of gold up here, though. Holy crud. This is turning out to be quite the treasure trove. But again, I don't want to sit around here for too long. We are currently taking some damage because I forgot one of my characters was thirsty. The longer we sit around here, the worse that's going to get. We got to move fast. It's actually a pretty cool mechanic in the game. I mean, I know that hunger and thirst and stuff can seem a little bit like a hindrance, but it puts pressure on you not to just explore willy-nilly and take your time in a dungeon. It kind of applies a bit of soft pressure to move fast without being quite so overt. I don't think there's much else to do here, though, aside from going to fight the boss, so I guess that's what we'll do now. I've got a little bit of damage on my characters, but all of my abilities are recharged as much as they can be, so I think that's fine. Let's get in here. This should be a pretty simple boss fight. It's just going to be a bunch of enemies that all spawn. We clear them all out and we'll be fine. Some floors are going to have actual full-on bosses, though, and yeah, they can be pretty darn tough. So these guys are all going to spawn. Let's pause, see what we got. Another ice zombie, skeleton fighter, zombie sorcerer, something else over here. Yeah, this doesn't seem unmanageable. I think we'll be okay. What I really wish is that I had some good stun abilities, but I do not. Oh well, should be fine. That was actually a really quick kill because I used some good strong nuke powers to take that down. Hit the skeleton fighter. We've got some regeneration. We've got some healing abilities. I think we'll end up being just fine. Use a quick sunbeam. He goes down. Easy enough. At this point, though, since we're at the final fight, I don't have any reason to hold off on my abilities. I can just go ahead and use them as much as I want to. which feels nice. And my mage did gain enough experience to finally level up, so let's go ahead and get her to level 3. Now we get to choose some new skills. You will be presented with 3 random skills. Again, each of them do have some charges to them. Give her her own magic shield bubble. We could have charm, so a target fights for us for a while. That seems pretty good. Or a destruction spell that does cause friendly fire if we're not careful. I mean, it does a lot of damage. Seems pretty solid. Charm or destruction? Charm or destruction? I think I'll take destruction just because it's really good for clearing out lots of small mobs. Charm would be very good for later on, though. And now that we're at the end of the dungeon, we can go over here to this chest, use the blue key that we found, and we got some more good stuff. An unidentified legendary helmet, cool, and a couple more potions. So this ends up our dungeon. We did get a lot of money, plus some of these building materials. Not half bad for us. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to here is you can see the characters, some of their stats. It's all pretty cool, but I really want to point out these little bars here. This represents something called instability. Every time we complete a level, our characters are going to become increasingly unstable. As we finish some of these dungeons and walk through these, honestly, it kind of looks like some sort of a medieval Stargate thing, but whenever we go through this, there is a chance that our character is going to simply destabilize and die. So you can't keep using characters forever and the same characters every single mission, or else eventually they'll become too unstable. Instead, you need to go to this hub area and spend your resources, manage your character's needs, and start getting them restabilized. And there are a lot of structures we can work with. The one I'm talking about specifically is the stabilizer. We click on this, we take our character, we drag him here, we spend some of our money, 120 gold in this case, and in 2 rounds, 2 more dungeons, he will be completely restabilized and ready for action. Hopefully that makes sense. There's a lot of other things I could make use of, though. For example, if we want to recruit some more adventurers, we can do that over here at the Soul Extractor. We could also go to a shop. We can buy and sell a few things, manage our inventory, which is getting a little bit on the full side right now, I will admit. But if I wanted to swap out the armor or the weapons for some of my characters, may not be a horrible idea. What else could we make use of? We can go to our Soul Infuser. As you level up your characters, they will gain some skill points that they can spend to upgrade some of the skills they have obtained. So, for example, go to my new Destruction spell. I could spend 4 points to upgrade the amount of damage we can do by a pretty substantial amount. Or with even more points, add on extra charges, so we can use it more frequently in a dungeon. You get the idea. We also could go to the Regenerator and try to heal any characters with some injuries. We could find some higher level adventurers if I had some rarer materials, which so far I do not. We could spend some money to help characters level up if they are falling behind the rest of the party, or we could go to the Altar of Destiny and increase the difficulty of future dungeons to get more rewards. And actually, this is definitely worth doing because you need a ton of money to keep on top of just the stabilization and the simple food and water needs for all of your characters. If you want to have enough money that can actually buy any gear, it actually really helps to increase the difficulty so you can find more money and get more resources to upgrade your structures. Speaking of upgrades, we could get a forge to upgrade a weapon with some special effects, or a number of other things because I haven't even unlocked all of the stuff. Reality Splitter, which removes curses, an Identificator, which identifies items, stuff like that. And even more will continue to be unlocked as we progress through the main story of the game. And that's not to mention that we can also upgrade all of our structures using the blueprints and some money, etc., etc. There's a lot to do here in this hub and to spend all these resources. You just never have enough resources to go around. So that means, once again, you have to use the Dimensional Gate to move on to, you guessed it, another dungeon. Now here we can see that I'm currently 2 dungeons along this particular run. My only path that I can take here would actually take me to this dungeon, where we can see that it is a small dungeon with a recommended level average of about 2.5 across my characters. Lots and lots of enemies to deal with. But one really important feature to understand here is the number of heroes you are allowed to take with you. This right here is the cumulative number of levels that you are allowed to take across all your characters. I've got 10 in this case. That means I could bring along, let's say, 5 level 2 characters, I could bring along 2 level 5 characters, you get the idea. Let's bring along a warrior here, maybe a cultist, and how about a sorcerer as well? That should bring me to my 10 levels total. And this particular dungeon shouldn't have any special features. Some of them do though, so like if I had gone all the way up here, I could get a health cache with lots of healing items. Or some have tons of food, or some have a special boss. And there's also going to be some actual story quests that need to be completed as you play through this game. So, for example, over here, we will be able to get to this exclamation point investigating the evil master plan, and once we do that, that unlocks new features you can play with the game, etc. So you have to do multiple runs through the dungeon. The first time I played this game, I actually did manage to get all the way to the final boss here, and that was a really, really challenging fight. I had to try hard my way through that. I won, but I was fighting level 4 and 5 enemies with mostly level 2 and 3s. It was rough, but we got through it. Fortunately, I don't feel that concerned here. This should be, again, a relatively straightforward dungeon as we continue making progress. Let's go ahead and prepare. We need to make sure we bring along some food and so on. And maybe we'll bring along, let's say, an unidentified scroll. You never know if you have to cast a random spell and pray. And now we step into another randomized dungeon. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start looking for some of the sweet, sweet loot. I mean, as much as possible. This dungeon should be crawling with enemies. I'm glad that I have 4 heroes to work with this time, including a sorcerer, which should mean I have a decent number of AoE spells, so that could be useful for me. Already found some skeleton archers and stuff. Eek, okay. How are we going to deal with this? Well, we got a lot of enemies. What do we have here? A flaming skull, bats, more ice zombies, and skeleton archers. Yeah, okay, let's get our frontline units here, which really I only have this warrior, unfortunately, the guardian. The rest of these guys are mostly DPS characters, so this is going to work out wonderfully or horribly. Holy crud, there's so many enemies. All right, let's go ahead and use a suffering spell to do a bunch of AoE damage using my cultist. Wasn't enough to finish them off. Okay, how about a quick flame strike spell? That's actually really beautifully lined up. There we go. Do a lot of damage. Set these enemies on fire. I want them to stay far away from me, though, if possible. So let's use some quick attacks. Try to take down this ice zombie. Assassin, get in here. And also throw down a quick decoy. So hopefully the enemies will target the wrong thing. Eesh, though. Holy crud. We already took a lot of damage from the skeleton knight, and I don't have a proper healer. Ooh, I just realized we have no healer. This dungeon's gonna be rough, I can tell you right now. You can still deal with it, though, bit by bit. Just gotta be careful. I can occasionally use either some potions, or maybe I get some randomized abilities from, let's say, my cultist. He has the ability to pray to darkness, which has random things that can happen, some of which are really good, and some of which are really not. But with a bit of good old-fashioned spell power, I think we'll be able to take down this skeleton knight. There we go. So overall, scary as that looked, it ended up being completely fine. And that's why I highly recommend you pause frequently in this game. Things can change on a dime very quickly if you're not paying attention, especially as you start getting to the higher and higher difficulties. Holy crud, they were not kidding. There are a lot of enemies in this level. Well, we'll do a cold wave over here and see if we can hit a whole bunch of them. Actually cleared out a surprising number of enemies. Holy crud. Yeah, that was a charged ability, and we used one of our charges, but in this case, I think it was absolutely worth it. We're probably going to have to rest at some point in this dungeon or find a potion that recharges some of our, well, charges. That would be very nice. Well, there we go. We found a campfire. So, okay, as long as I've got enough food to go around, I think we'll end up being okay. Oh, what is this? A mummy. Level 3, 200 HP. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that can happen. That actually scares me a bit. Ooh, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So let's think this through carefully. The mummy's going to come to me. I want to use my guardian up at the front. We have a stun ability, which would be useful. I could also make use of the decoy. The decoy means we can hopefully run in here and start doing a lot of damage. Also try to knock out this other zombie before he becomes a problem. Only I have my dark prophecy right now. We could do like 100 damage to this thing in one shot. That would be unbelievably good. Is that an option? Only a 15% chance of hitting. We'll see. No, did not work. Darn! To be fair, I didn't think it would. It just would have been really nice. So I need to pull my rogue back, make sure that my guardian is the target that the mummy goes for in just a minute. There we go. All right, now we can start doing all the backstabby-stabby. Maybe pray to darkness again. What do we get? Randomized effect. Big fireball! Boom, okay. Okay, we've already got it down below half health. And it hasn't even landed a hit yet. Let's apply a bit of extra armor to my guardian so he can survive whatever's coming. Do some more of these quick strikes since we can. And actually, we are burning this thing down very carefully. It helps to have a numbers advantage. Big help. Very big help. And there we go. Okay, this is why it's nice to have a really strong tank. Whew, that could have been a lot worse, honestly. But good tactics, some good well-timed stuns, a few buffs. Makes a big difference. Hello, treasure chest. What do we want to get with you? We get a epic shield, sure. Unidentified scrolls, some water, some food, good timing for that. Blueprints, healing potion, all good. Honestly, I'm very sorely tempted to go ahead and do a rest now since we have some extra food to go around, but since people are mostly healthy, Maybe we don't need to do that quite yet. Assassin levels up. What can we get? Serial kill. If the target perishes, the cooldown is instantly reset. Wow, this could do a lot of damage. Not bad. Murder. Attack 3 times instantly. Or one of those charm abilities. What would be better against, like, bosses, do we think? Murder would be pretty good. I do love the idea of charm. I could see this making a big difference, honestly. Having something else to tank the hits? Let's go for charm. All right. My assassin has learned seduction. It's not actually how it works, but it'd be very funny if it were. Found the boss. Okay, so we know where we need to go for that. What else is in this dungeon? Was that everything? Looks like that was, in fact, just about everything. We don't need those explosive barrels. So the question is, do I feel like I need to go and rest and waste more of my satiation? Honestly, I don't know. My sorcerer's lost a lot of his good spells, but we have most other things from my cultist, from my guardian, and even from the assassin to some degree. I think we're okay. So we're actually just going to go ahead and get in here and see what kind of a boss we can fight in this particular arena. Is it going to be an actual boss again, or is it going to be a bunch of enemies? I think it's a bunch of enemies. Oh my god, is it a bunch of enemies? Okay. Well, we can inflict blindness on a whole bunch of them, which may not be a bad call. They're all grouping up, so maybe making them all blind right now would be brilliant. Yes, let's do that. Ooh! Giant skeletal hand, unexpected effect. And then send the guardian up to the front line and use diversion, which is going to force some targets to attack him, sure. But it also applies tough skin, which means he's going to be extra resistant right now. And let's apply summon shadow. I want to summon a clone of my occultist who's going to cast spells for me. Pray to darkness again. We go ahead and vanquish with more lightning. Cool. What else can we do here? Motivation glyph. Apply 50% attack speed on self for 3 seconds. Sure, all of my guys are about to start attacking really, really quickly. Yeah, we're buffing pretty well here. My occultist is in a little bit of danger, but I mean, I'm hoping we're going to be fine. Could apply some paralysis to somebody. I don't think this thing is charmed anymore, so let's go ahead and paralyze that fighter, keep him out of the fight. Honestly, the decoy is doing some serious work, which is just huge right now. But my guardian's, like, taking almost no damage, too. Like, he's done a really good job of distracting them for a long time. Oh, okay, finally took a couple of hits from the assassin. That is fine. Let's go ahead and freeze a target and keep him out of the fight for a second. Yep, making use of these spells as best we can. We're going to pray to darkness one more time. What do we get? More lightning. I love it. I feel like so far we've had a lot of really good rolls. I assume that the darkness can backfire against you horribly, but so far it's been amazing. And finally, our reward, 1 blue key, please. Use here. We get some charming arrows. Oh, and a ring as well. Acid damage to all of my attacks could be quite useful, plus the Ring of Soothing Skills. 50% chance to heal self whenever a skill hits. Well, that could be very useful on the right character. Yeah, overall, not a bad haul for, again, a fairly simple and meager dungeon. Not bad at all. 582 gold, decent amounts. Not a lot of special materials, though. That's one thing that's kind of hurting me. I really could use a lot more special building materials so I can keep buying things over here. Let's get, I wanted to get the identificator. We could get the reality splitter, remove curses. I don't need that. Yeah, I need to keep doing more dungeons, unlock more stuff. I mean, we can get 4 level 3 characters in here, and that's actually a good average level right now. My goal being to work over here and try to get to some of the story events, but this is going to be a very, very difficult dungeon. By the time you get to the end, you're supposed to have at least level 4.5, level 5 characters. Again, it's kind of ridiculous that I was able to beat this before I got to that point. Now, one thing that's very important, though, if you get to a point where you're finding that none of these maps are really feasible, you're just not a high enough level, maybe some of your characters got destabilized and died and you lost all their gear, well, one thing you could do is actually click on this button up here and regenerate the entire world. You're going to go back to the beginning here, but it will regenerate things and you can take on some easier dungeons. Don't be afraid to make use of this if you have to, but I'm personally trying to avoid that. Let's do one more dungeon here. We'll bring along a Guardian, Battle Priest, a Ravager, and again, a Sorcerer. So here we go again, dungeon number 3. Oh boy, what have I signed myself up for this time? Boss found already. Okay, not going in there yet. Though I guess we could, if we really felt like we were in a dangerous dungeon and it's just not worth trying to hunt everything down, we could go deal with the boss first, use up all of our charges, and then just keep cleaning up if we want to. It's not even a bad idea, really, but I'm gonna avoid it. Let's try to get up to level 4 here. Please pass the intelligence chest. There we go, level 4. Ho ho ho. A crowd taunt ability. Oof, I could see that being very strong. Then again, a cone stun on targets could be great, and then motivational grift, 50% attack on all of my allies. I mean, in a group situation, this is kind of amazing. It's like giving everyone some rage, but I can actually control them and let them use more abilities. What does it come down to? Stun, damage, or taunting? All three very solid. I'm going to go for the motivational glyph, though. It just worked so well last time. Kind of a quiet dungeon so far. Well, of course, as soon as I say that, here we go. We got Skelly Knights, yeah, more zombies, and so on. Fire Skelly Archer. I do not like fire archers. If they can hit any targets, like let's say some oil on the floor, you can set yourself on fire pretty quick, and that's a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah, let's just go ahead and freeze him for a minute. Oh, what do we have over here? A Spectre. Ah, okay, that scares me a lot more. We have a level 3 ghost that can attack us now. Yeah, some of these enemies can be like inflicting permanent like psychic damage over time, right? Things can go really badly very quickly against level 3 and up. I'm gonna try to burn that guy down as fast as I feel like I can. Are there any special abilities that would make sense here? Lightning is a great stun if we need it. A lightning ring. Could hit a few targets doing this, I suppose. Yeah. It's kind of hard to make use of this ability. I'll go ahead and do it now and see if we can't just knock a few things out, which is exactly what we just did. Good. Oh, Spectre disappeared. Oh, God. He's gone somewhere. He's gone invisible. He's going to sneak attack me in a second. There. Wait. Nope. Where is he? I don't know where he is. Ah, there we go. Almost murdered my Ravager. Yeah, the Ravager seems to be taking damage pretty quick, doesn't he? Let's go ahead and do a quick group bubble. There we go. A little bit of extra HP. Go ahead and pull the Ravager back for a second so that he's not getting taunted. And the Skeleton Knight just knocked him down, so now he's dying. Oh, God. All right, Spectre just snuck up on him. That's why that happened. Okay, hang on. Sorcerer, get next to him, and let's use this again. Bring him back on his feet. Thank you. Okay. All right. That was a little on the rough side, let's say. Didn't even get any good loot out of the arrangement. That was just painful for the sake of being painful. Oh boy. A bunch of my characters are going to get to level 4 pretty soon, though. So ideally, leveling up during a dungeon is great, because it's a way of getting around like the level cap requirement for the particular level. So you can find yourself getting a little bit of extra power. Taking characters that are close to leveling is great. Found at least a resting point, so if I want to do that down here, we could. I don't think I'm quite that desperate yet, but if we take much more damage, I might want to consider it. What is this? Oh, crap, we found a Necromancer. 100 health there. All right, we do actually need to make use of some scary abilities. Skeleton Decay. Apply Skeleton Rot. Could be good. Only works on a skeleton. I assume that a Necromancer counts as one of those. 21% chance success. Not very good. We could try to subdue Undead, effectively a charm ability, though. That might be helpful. Yeah, if we can charm some of these enemies to start fighting the Necromancer for me, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. We'll do that. Let's see how many we get. Couple. Ooh, we got the Necromancer on our side. Hilarious. All right, clear them up first, and then we'll deal with you. Divide and conquer. And a whole bunch more enemies just spawned over here. Oh, I'm glad I've got the Necromancer on my side now. I'm actually extremely concerned. That is so many enemies. I don't have nearly enough AoE for this. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and do something crazy. I'm going to stack up Rage, and I'm going to stack up the Motivational Glyph on my Ravager. So now he's going to have like 150% extra attack speed. Hopefully that helps. And then I'm going to do something else crazy. I'm going to run in here with my Guardian. I'm going to pull the rest of my characters back if I can. We're going to try using an Inferno ability. This is a bit risky, but we're going to set myself and everything around me on fire. My Guardian can survive it no problem. The Ravager's the one who might get set on fire, but all the other enemies get set on fire as well, so I think it's worth. But we're completely trapped at this point. I've got nowhere to go. This is way too many enemies. Oh my God. We're just gonna have to pray that this works. We really are. I don't know what else to do aside from just pray that the Ravager can handle almost all of this stuff on his own. He's just that good. What if he uses Supremacy? Apply Supremacy on all targets? Sure, why not? This should be a way of boosting the offense advantage for all of my characters. So now we do 120% more damage. Go, go, go! Let's do another one of these inspiring glyphs. Keep it going, guys! And this is all being true with a Necromancer still doing things in the background, by the way. If I don't find a way to get to him, what am I gonna do? Tell you what, we do something else. We go ahead and pull back again, because we're about to use another friendly fire ability. Get up here with my Guardian. Bleeding Roots, hit all these targets, make them start taking damage over time. Okay, good enough. Get back in here. We're definitely resting after all this. There's no way we can't. can't. That was so many enemies that all hit me at once. It's unfair. Okay, now we can finally start doing some damage here to the Necromancer. Let's try to get rid of this skeleton archer. Good. Everyone focus fire hard on this thing now. Dogpile, dogpile, dogpile. How fast can we burn this thing down? Doing some pretty solid damage while he's still stunned. Can break his armor, make it a little easier to keep ramping up. Let's go ahead and apply some enrage so we attack faster. Stop summoning knights! I mean, he is a Necromancer. I suppose this was somewhat to be expected, but I still don't like it. Got him. Okay, and now we just need to finish the rest of these off, and then we can get our rest in. Oh, Lord. Woo! Woo! Yeah, let's go ahead and take a little nap. Well, I say that. Do I have enough water to do this? Uh-oh. I'm now concerned I may not have enough water to do a rest. I'm gonna have to try, because we need to get some health and charges back. So far, it looks like thirst did not go down. It was just satiation. Okay, we're fine then. We're fine. Everyone eat some stale bread. It'll make you feel good. So all that's left is the boss fight. Maybe I could have gotten away without resting. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not brave enough for that. This one already scared me a bit. Looks like it's going to be, again, just a bunch of enemies, not a proper boss. Honestly, in some ways, a proper boss would be nice. I would have liked to have had some single target damage that I could focus down instead, but oh well, it's fine. All right, here we go. We did not get all of our charges back, so I mean, we've got to make do with what we've got. I used a lot of my power up front. Oh, it's another Necromancer. Right, this is going to be great. And a level 3 mummy as well. Okay, we got 2 really scary enemies here. Uh-oh. Right, let's get in here and stun the Necromancer and try to take him down as fast as we can, because he's the one who's going to be spawning more enemies. So the faster I can finish that off, the better. I'm going to go ahead and use a group shield now while we can. Make sure everyone's got a bit of a buffer, and let's break some armor on these targets as well. We'll hold on to our lightning strike. Once this guy's stun expires, which is about now, we'll go ahead and try to hit him. Did not manage to stun him. That's unfortunate. But we are burning down the Necromancer quickly. Use every ability we've got. Get him down. I just don't want this guy spawning more stuff. All right, I think that's not too much to ask. He's only got 15 HP left. We're so close. Come on, come on. A little bit more. He's about to summon. Come on. Quick attack. Got him. Okay, now we just need to burn down a mummy who can, I don't know about one-shot my guys, but he can do a lot. I'm going to pull the battle priest back and let someone else tank for a minute. Seriously, let someone else tank for a minute. There we go. Thank you. So how fast can we burn down a 200 health mummy if he only is attacking one of my guys at a time? Answer, we should be able to burn him down very, very quickly. Like, he's attacking pretty slowly. My Ravager's going nuts. He's got quite the rage going on right now. We could freeze you. I'm just going to go ahead and do some lightning. Did get the stun off. That is 6 seconds of him doing nothing, and we've got it. Beautifully done. Yeah, this is a pretty satisfying little team-based RPG, to be honest. It's quite satisfying just like pausing the game, using all your abilities, and taking down some big, scary targets. Level 4 Sorcerer, what do we want? Chain Lightning could be good. A big honkin' Fireball. Or an Ice Strike, apply cold to the ground, 60-10 cold damage? Holy crud. Yeah, I think Ice Strike sounds really good. It's control and it's damage. Beautiful. Let's use the key. What do we get? Some legendary medium gauntlets, and a bunch of potions that I probably don't need. Okay, that's a full inventory. We call that a clean haul. Not bad. All right, exit the dungeon. Thank you kindly. Solid rewards, I think, across the board. 800 gold plus a decent number of materials. Yup, but you can see that some of my characters, like Gilleste over here, is getting very unstable. It's now quite risky to be taking him into any additional dungeons. So some of my best characters, unfortunately, now have to go into timeout. And again, that's where this game gets kind of interesting. You have to manage the downtime of your characters, manage their needs as far as food and as far as water. You have to consider whether you are progressing your characters too quickly and you have too many high-level characters and not enough low-level characters to do the easy dungeons, etc., etc. There's so many different things that are, I don't want to say throttling your ability to progress in the game, but they are requiring careful management. It's far more in-depth than you might expect. And I'm not too sure how long the campaign actually is going to be, but it seems that there are many different steps to all of the different quests that we could fulfill, revealing all manner of different bosses we'll have to fight by the end. So I imagine there's dozens of hours of playability in a game like this, which is pretty awesome. It reminds me a little bit of Darkest Dungeon in the way that you're building up your roster of champions, and then whenever one of them ends up either going to stable or just dying outright in a dungeon, that will be painful. Ugh, physical pain. I can just see it happening. Very, very cool little indie game. Very creative, very fun. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed and found this informative in some way. And once again, a big thank you to Paradox Arc for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to learn more about Escape the Mad Empire, you can find a link in the description down below, and I would encourage you to click on that. Otherwise, please consider hitting that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.